Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Lord of the People. I set off a frenzy of plant alienation. Chapter 11. Lu Ruan understood after a little thought. Qin Shang didn't want to take away his godhead, and he wouldn't let it go easily. Hey, don't you just want my godhead shards by saying so much? You are a hypocrite, you just want the godhead shards, so why put on airs here? Lu Ruan was also killed out of tens of millions of lords back then, so he was not afraid of him. Suddenly, Qin Shang's face was ugly, but he still smiled and said, Mr. Lu, don't get excited. Why don't we just see if your student Suzie from the Department of Plants can survive the 7-day trial? If he can survive the 7-day trial, then I admit that teacher Lu has some vision, but if he can't even survive the 7-day trial, then Mr. Lu doesn't know people well, so why don't you give up the fragments of Godhead, how about that? Quote. Looking at Qin Shang's face, Lu Ruan couldn't help the disgust in her heart. Suzie is just a plant type, and doesn't even have attack power. The buildings originally supported by her could barely hide in the territory for 7 days. But now the difficulty is doubled, who knows what kind of monster Suzie will encounter. But now she is still riding a tiger. And it seems that this guy Qin Shang will not give up until he achieves his goal. It is good. Lu Ruan gritted her teeth and agreed. Her pretty face was full of evil spirit at this moment. Although Suzie is not optimistic, it is the only way. What if Suzie is lucky enough? Haha, then let's quietly watch if our classmate Suzie can survive the second wave of monster attacks. Hearing Lu Ruan agreed, Qin Shang couldn't help laughing. In his opinion, he won. What about flora and defensive buildings? His family has a god ancestor. I got the news a long time ago. This trial is not just as simple as doubling the difficulty. Seeing this, the other teachers also shook their heads one after another, looking at Lu Ruan with gloating eyes. They didn't believe that a plant type with no attack power could last until the end of the trial. Unless a miracle happens. Suzie doesn't know anything about the outside world. At this time, he had already boarded the city wall, looking at the billowing gray mist in the distance. Roar. In the mist, there was a ferocious roar from time to time, as if some prehistoric beast was hidden. Occasionally, a figure with a height of 5 or 6 meters would appear and disappear in the mist. Something is wrong. Suzie frowned slightly, wondering why the second wave of monsters hadn't appeared yet. At this time, whoosh, whoosh, suddenly there was a detonation sound in the air, followed by a fiery breath. Suzie looked up. Countless football-sized fireballs flew out from the depths of the gray fog. In the blink of an eye, the sky over the territory has been covered. Suzie's eyes were fixed, but his body was calm and composed, without any fear on his face. Next moment, in the sky above the territory, a green light curtain emitting colorful rays of light appeared. Boom, boom, boom. Countless fireballs bombarded the light curtain, but did not cause any damage to the light curtain. A dangerous crisis was easily resolved. The corner of Suzie's mouth curled up, obviously expecting it. This is the characteristic of World Tree, World Shelter. The attack of a mere group of monsters. How to break through the defense of World Tree. The fog outside the territory suddenly rolled violently, obviously surprised by the defense of the territory. However, it's really dangerous. Suzie muttered to himself. The monster that appeared this time seemed a little different. Not only legal monsters appeared. He even knows how to use strategies to hide in the mist and carry out sneak attacks. Seems to understand that sneak attacks are useless. One after another figures gradually walked out of the mist, but they stood far away, showing no intention of approaching the territory at all. They look the same as the green goblin, but instead of maces in their hands, they are staffs made of unknown skulls. His eyes were red, with a fierce look, and he fixed his gaze on Suzie. Suzie glanced over and saw a total of 200 mage monsters. And it's not over yet. The gray mist rolled again. 5-meter-tall, green goblin monsters stepped out of the gray mist. Compared with the first wave of monsters, these monsters are undoubtedly several times stronger. Tier 2 monster. Suzie understood in an instant. With the monster out, the mage monsters who had stayed in place began to wave their magic wands one after another. Rays of light emerged from the Dharma battle, connecting into a magic formation that surrounded all the second order, green goblins. The moment the magic circle was formed, all the second-order green goblins, under the cover of the magic circle, waved the metal maces in their hands and rushed towards the territory. The momentum is like a rainbow, and there is a faint momentum of thousands of troops. 200 legal monsters, 400 second-order, green goblins, they really think highly of me. Suzie laughed at himself. This kind of configuration, even if it is faced by an ordinary third-tier lord, it must be here, and the halberd will fall into the sand. However, I, Suzie, am no ordinary lord. Suzie smiled slightly. Attack. When the monster reached the attack range of 300 meters, Suzie gave the order to attack without hesitation. Next moment, 500 Peashooters, their small eyes glow red, their bodies move slightly. Countless pea bullets shot towards the green goblin monster. Like countless ferocious tongues of fire, they made a swish sound in the air and went straight to the monster. When you see countless bullets flying towards you, the 200 legal monsters standing in front didn't care at all. There was even a hint of contempt in his eyes. They have already obtained the death experience of the first wave of monsters. Knowing that these bullets have the characteristics of penetrating and blasting. But they are mages, noble mages. Their formation of 200 mages. Even the powerhouses of Tier 3 cannot break through. Not to mention that these are just some attacks from first-order plants. Therefore, they didn't care at all and continued to move forward in an orderly manner. His gaze was still fixed on Suzie, who was standing on the city wall, as if he wanted to swallow him alive. Because Suzie is an invader who wants to destroy their world. The pea bullets, emitting green glows, arrived in front of the monster magic circle almost in the blink of an eye. Next moment, the French monsters were dumbfounded. Countless bullets seemed to be unstopped. It actually roared past the magic circle and hit them. Just for a moment, the 200 magic monsters in front of them were blocked. Then the bullet shot into the monster's body, the moment it touched the flesh. Explosion occurs. Boom, boom, boom. In a blink, 200 invincible monsters from the legal system became scum on the ground, once again staining the land green. Seeing this scene, the corners of Suzie's mouth turned up slightly, in a very happy mood. He has never forgotten that pea bullets have the property of destroying demons. This is simply a sharp weapon against mages. For others, mages are like big bosses. But for Suzie, it's not as good as the first wave of green goblins with maces. Without any suspense, it can be easily slaughtered. But Suzie did not forget. Behind them, there are 400 second-order green goblins. This is the big head. At this time, the Tier 2 monsters who had charged, stood still and paused slightly. They couldn't figure it out, the legal partner who was full of confidence just now. How could a face-to-face be taken away in seconds? An inexplicable fear was born in their hearts. But because of the blessing of the will of heaven, this fear disappears in the blink of an eye. Roar. The eyes of the second-order green goblins gradually turned blood red. Let out a roar of anger. Rushed to the territory at a faster speed. Madness. Seeing the crazy and desperate looks of the second-order green goblins, Suzie understood that they had lost their minds and were controlled by the will of the world. Such things are recorded in books. Many lords died from the counterattack of the monsters, temporary madness, so there should be no carelessness. Attack. Suzie's eyes were cold, without a trace of pity in his heart. Chug chug, chug chug. The Peashooter is like a tireless weapon, pea bullets are sprayed out desperately without money. 500 Peashooters are now like 500 automatic firing machine guns. Every second, several bullets roared past. Precise. No misses. Every bullet must hit a Tier 2 green goblin, and then explode in their bodies. Not just arms. Suzie's buildings Burst Flame Tower and Arrow Tower are also gradually gaining momentum. Bunches of arrows exuding icy cold air, and magma fireballs the size of washbasins hit the monster directly. The arrow pierced the goblin's eye, and the blaster melted half of the goblin's body. Ah, ah, countless second-order green goblins screamed again and again, with a hole exploding from time to time, and sneak attacks from arrows from time to time, making them extremely miserable. Although they are Tier 2 green goblins, their combat power and defense power are several times that of Tier 1 green goblins. And the Peashooters are only tier 1 units, a bullet may not have much effect on them. But what about 10 rounds, 100 rounds, or even 1,000 rounds? Even a tier 2 monster. I can't resist it either. 10 minutes later, with the last monster smashed to pieces, the fighting ceased. The 400 tier 2 monsters were undoubtedly destroyed directly. Suzie saw the land outside, and the green blood deepened the color of the land again. Outside, the corpse of the monster forcibly stacked up the ground 100 meters away. It is conceivable that, how miserable these monsters are. No, why is there no settlement? At this point, the battle is over, and the battle should be summarized as yesterday. But it didn't appear at this time. Obviously it can't be that the will of the world has gone wrong. So, Suzie looked at the gray fog in the distance again. Roar! A ferocious roar suddenly came out of the gray mist. Next second, a beam of fiery red light burst out from the gray fog and went straight to Suzie. Bang! A green barrier unfolded in front of Suzie's eyes, blocking the attack. A strong spark erupted. Worry! Suzie's hair burst instantly, his eyes widened, and he took a few steps back. What is it that engages in sneak attacks and doesn't talk about martial arts? Suzie patted his panicked heart and cursed. If it wasn't for World Asylum just now, I'm afraid he would be dead, and he wouldn't even have a chance to quit. Fortunately, I alienated the Tree of Life into a world tree. At this moment, Suzie is extremely grateful for his talent, alienation. Why is it only a second-order monster, so one is more sinister than the other? Aftertaste, Suzie felt something was wrong. According to the knowledge learned, monsters of tier 3 and below have no intelligence. It will only rush forward simply and rudely. But what happened to Suzie? Those monsters of the first-order legal system actually united to form a magic circle. Now there is another one, hiding in the dark and shooting coldly. Did he meet? Is it a fake first-order monster? Obviously, no one answered Suzie's question. In the distance, mist billows. Boom boom boom. There was a dull stomping sound, even though thousands of meters away. Suzie could still hear the thunderous voice. The moment Suzie saw clearly, his eyes widened. A huge monster with a height of more than 10 meters slowly walked out of the mist. Nima, do you call this the second wave of monsters? Suzie was speechless. There is no doubt that this is a monster higher than the second order. It is indeed 100 times more difficult. Tier 3 monsters appeared only the next day. It is hard to imagine how difficult the 7th and last day will be. Won't there be a god? Suzie whispered. Shaking his head, Suzie put down the thoughts in his heart. Looking at the huge monster like a tall building again. It looks very ugly, with 2 protruding fangs in its mouth, 3 black eyes like ink on its face, red hair scattered all over its body, which vaguely symbolizes ominousness, and its spine is like a mountain ridge. With an arm as thick as a bucket, he held a machete with a 9-ring gap. The machete was more than 3 meters long, and the blade was shiny. It's bright at first glance. Beep beep beep, beep beep beep. At this time, the Peashooter beside Suzie made a beeping sound, and Suzie looked over. 500 Peashooters, all of them shimmering at this moment. Could it be? Suzie seemed to think of something, with a surprised expression on his face. It's about to evolve, really. As soon as Suzie finished speaking, the Peashooters were enveloped in bright light. Soon, the light dissipated. Suzie looked over. At this time, each of the Peashooters has changed drastically, with a height of 2 meters. The small eyes have grown a bit bigger, but they are still as dark as gemstones. The 3 leaves under my feet have turned into 4 leaves, making my stand more stable. The biggest change is its muzzle, which has more than doubled in size. And the internal structure inside has changed, from 1 muzzle to 6 rotating muzzles. Just like Gatling in his previous life. Suzie immediately checked the various attributes of the arms. Open black lens bracket name close black lens bracket, P. Gatling. Race plant. Open black lens bracket level close black lens bracket, 15, 7/30. Physique 200, vitality. Agility 50, speed. Spirit 160, skill power. Skill, cannon fire. Loyalty 100% permanent. Introduction evolved from the Peashooter. You once again create a magical plant, but its power seems a little strong. Fire. Quality. Legend. Feature 1. Accurate. Feature 2. Demon Breaking. Feature 3. Blasting. Feature 4. Speed. Attack distance. 500 meters. Introduction. If you are a friend, eat my peas. P. Gatling. Suzie was taken aback when he saw the name, and with P's rotating nozzle, it was indeed similar to the mechanical weapon Gatling. Look at the properties again. Suzie smiled slightly. Very strong. Physical fitness, agility, spirit, and various attributes have almost doubled by 10 times. Worthy of being a legendary weapon. Compared with others, the attributes of the second-tier arms are 30 to 40. Suzie crushed them in every way. The bombardment is raging, and another feature has been added. The attack distance has also increased by 200 meters. No doubt, the arms that have been promoted to the second level are powerful and terrifying. Roar. Just as Suzie checked the troop information, another roar came from the mist. Then, 1, 5, 10, 20. Under the gaze of Suzie, a total of 40 third-tier monsters walked out of the mist. Each of their bodies was as large as the first. But there are monsters in their hands with 3-meter-long bows and arrows, and maces full of barbs. When all 40 third-tier monsters appeared, Chi-Chi rushed towards Suzie's territory. The speed is as fast as the wind. In the blink of an eye, it almost rushed below the territory. It's a good time to try the power of the second-tier arms. Suzie was unafraid, with a hint of interest in his eyes. I don't know if the second-tier P. Gatling can penetrate the defense of the third-tier monster. To know, every step up, the improvement in strength is huge. If Tier 2 can easily crush dozens of Tier 1 monsters, then Tier 3 monsters can easily kill hundreds of Tier 2 monsters without any effort. Therefore, Suzie didn't dare to underestimate the third-order monsters. Attack. Suzie gave the order to attack without hesitation. The moment 500 soldiers P. Gatling received the order, their dark eyes emitted a red light visible to the naked eye. It's like entering a state of war. Every Tier 3 monster was targeted by more than a dozen arms. Suzie saw that the muzzle of the P-gun started to turn. Next moment, chug chug, chug chug, ... The muzzle of the rotating gun makes a long and endless chug. Countless bullets were sprayed out in an instant. If we assume Tier 1 Peashooters attack like flowing water, then the second-order P. Gatling undoubtedly seems to have turned on the berserk mode. Like a waterfall rushing down to the sky, it roared. The sky is full of artillery fire. If there is a patient with intensive phobia at this time, he will definitely faint directly. The densely packed P bullets scatter wildly as if they don't want money. I don't know how long the Tier 3 monster can last. Seeing this scene, Suzie was full of confidence in his own arms. Such ferocious firepower, not to mention Tier 3, even Tier 4 can cripple him. Boom boom boom, puff. Gunpowder smoke was everywhere ahead, dust was flying, and the dust from the violent explosion covered the sky. In Suzie's ears, there were only constant chugs and painful cries from time to time in the dust. But I didn't see any monster rushing under the city wall. A breeze blows by. Dust was swept away from the sky, leaving behind a pile of monster corpses that were beaten into mud and collapsed on the ground. If you are poor, you will strike with precision. If you are rich, you will have full coverage. Suzie looked at the scene in front of him, feeling emotional in his heart. Really, he still prefers fire coverage. All the Tier 3 monsters were wiped out, rays of light began to appear on the broken corpses on the ground, and treasure boxes began to emerge one by one. With a smile in Suzie's eyes, with a big wave of his hand, all the treasure chests entered the equipment bar. It was also at this time that he was relieved. It's finally over. Even knowing that the territory is protected by the world, there will always be pressure in my heart. The second round of invasion is over. Start settlement. Open black lens bracket war settlement close black lens bracket. Enemies. 200 level 9 green mages, 400 level 19 second level green goblins, 40 level 25 third level knives and axes. The result of the war. Complete victory. Rating. SSS level. Reward. 640 source crystals, 64 source points. Skill book bow and archery blue territory building bow tower blue. Due to 100 times the difficulty and 1,000 times the reward, recalculate. Evaluation. SSS plus. Rewards. 640,000 source crystals, 80,000 source points, territory building, bow tower, legendary, skill book, Hui archery, legendary, equipment, sun hunting bow, legendary, skill book, identification technique, legendary, equipped with star ring, legendary, building, restaurant, legendary. It's all good things. Sure enough, the greater the risk, the more rewards. A wave of monsters, Suzie went from poor to rich again. Buildings and equipment that are rarely seen in the outside world. He's all over the place now. 640 monsters, including 40 tier 3 monsters. This is tantamount to a life and death situation for other lords. But Suzie eliminated it with the help of arms and the protection of the world. This is all built on the huge accumulation of Suzie. One step at a time, one step at a time. From the very beginning, Suzie has left the other lords far behind. Suzie, sure, even compared with those big families, his combat power is not bad at all. Now he has an advantage far beyond others, so he will keep it. In this way, even after the trial is over, Suzie can also gain a firm foothold by relying on the huge harvest in the trial. When you come to this world, you can't become a god, you can't travel in the universe, and you don't see the races of the heavens, and appreciate the beauty of the world. Wouldn't it be a pity? With a clear idea in his mind, Suzie breathed a sigh of relief and walked down the city wall. Flora. For hundreds of millions of years, no one lit the fire. Do not know what is the reasons of that. But, other plants are not gods. Then he, Suzie, will be the first person. And, how good are plant units? Just one thing, you don't have to take care of the soldiers, food, drink and lizards, so many lords would not envy them. Plants only need sunlight to sustain life. How is it like other lords, who are busy in the dark every day for the food and drink of the soldiers? Also because of this, the number of other people's arms is not many, even those high-ranking lords, the number of arms is only maintained in the hundreds of years. Who dares to be like Suzie? With a wave of his hand, there are 500 soldiers. When you encounter a monster, shoot a volley directly. There are not many who can stand up. And, the loyalty of plants is 100%, so there is no need to worry about the mutiny of the arms. This is simply the dream of countless lords. Unfortunately, they are not botanical. This time I gained a lot, but there are still treasure chests left unopened. So Suzie still planned to open the treasure chest first to try his luck today. At the same time, not far from the natural leader, Guan Shan's dog leader is right here. At this time, Guan Shan was covered in blood, squatting on a rock, panting heavily, exhausted, but his face was full of smiles. He just repelled the attack from the gray mist, with the equipment war knife green obtained by the first wave of killing. Cooperating with 3 kobold units, he successfully hacked a green mage to death. Open black lens bracket war settlement close black lens bracket. Enemies. 4 level 5 green goblins, 5 level 7 green goblins, 1 level 7 green mage. Result of the war. Victory. Rating. D. Reward. 15 magic crystals, 4 source points, army token. Ha ha ha, I didn't expect to get 15 magic crystals and 4 origin points this time. If I gather 6 more origin points, I can raise the territory to the 2nd level. Guan Shan was very excited. The 2nd tier territory, according to previous year's experience, can even be ranked in the top 100 in Qingyan. It's only the 2nd wave now, and I have already obtained 4 source points, and there are still 5 days left. I even have a chance to hit the 3rd tier or even 4th tier territory. The teacher said that the more genius you are, the more monsters you will encounter. According to the statistics, the monsters encountered in the 2nd round are generally 3 or 4 first-level low-level monsters. As for me, not only do I have 4 level 5 green goblins, 5 level 7 green goblins, and even a level 7 magic monster. Such difficulty, who else? So, doesn't it mean that I'm actually a genius? Thinking of this, Guan Shan's smile bloomed on his face, as cute as a flower. Although he awakened only green quality kobolds. But what about kobolds? Kobolds can also go to the top. Even, who said kobolds couldn't become gods? At this time, Guan Shan's heart was full of ambition. Hey, I still have a soldier token here, ha ha ha. Unexpectedly the soldier token exploded in the 2nd round. Guan Shan yelled excitedly. Soldier tokens are extremely scarce, and each one is worth tens of thousands of gold. He quickly took it out of the inventory to check what kind of arms it was. Open black lens bracket mushroom close black lens bracket. Race. Plant. Guan Shan. Damn it, it turned out to be a plant, but it fits well with Suzie, a waste plant type. I'm afraid he has already been eliminated. Guan Shan threw it flying angrily, and happened to hit the kobold next to him. The 3 wounded kobolds looked back at him with evil eyes. Your kobold loyalty is reduced by 10%. Your kobold loyalty is reduced by 10%. A reminder appeared in Guan Shan's mind. Suddenly his expression changed. I'm sorry, don't be angry, I'll cook for you. Picking up the soldier token, Guan Shan hastily lit a fire to cook. Work hard to serve the arms. Outside, on the square of Qingyan High School. From time to time, some students fell out and were eliminated. Qin Shang stood aside, with a smile on his lips, waiting quietly. The second wave of invasion is coming to an end. He believed that Suzie would appear soon. He can't make it past the second round. At night, with the bells ringing at 12 o'clock in the evening. A new day has arrived. Ha ha ha, how's it going? Teacher Qin, do I have a good eye for people? On the square of Qingyan High School, Ruan was dressed in a cheongsam, with a curvy figure, holding a folding fan of mountains and rivers, flowers and birds. Stirring slightly, the blue hair moved slightly, lazily sitting on a wooden chair. A twin peaks laughed like an earthquake, the ground shook and the mountains shook, swaying. The moonlight shone on her beautiful face, making Ruan look even more alluring. At this moment, Ruan was more excited than ever before. She saw with her own eyes the change in the face of this old guy Qin Shang. From confidence, to doubt, to embarrassment, to disbelief. Just don't be too happy. HMPH. It's only the second day. Even if he is lucky and can escape, but don't forget, there are still 5 days left. Let's wait and see. Qin Shang's face was as black as ink, he waved his sleeves and disappeared. Just wait and see, I believe in Suzie. Ruan said with a smile, her pretty face was like honey. Today Qin Shang is not just waiting here for a day. And, now there is only one single seedling of Qin Yi left in their class. But in class 5, there are Suzie and Guan Shan. It can be said that she made a good laugh. After laughing, Ruan looked up at the moon in the sky, as if seeing Suzie's smiling face, a trace of worry flashed across his face. I don't know if A's can survive 7 days. From the population eliminated today, she already understood the difficulty of this assessment. More than doubled, even the low-level monsters even gave birth to a little wisdom and knew how to arrange troops. It simply does not give ordinary lords a way out. Even the lords of the green quality and even the blue quality have eliminated a few. It's only been the next day. There are less than 20 students left in the school who are still undergoing trials, and there is no doubt that their arms are all green and above. And Suzie was able to survive the second round relying on the defensive buildings, which had exceeded Ruan Lu's expectations. After all, plants have no attack power. This means that Suzie, unable to hunt monsters and obtain source crystals, you can only rely on the poor customs clearance rewards to barely upgrade the building. Hey, sorry, I hope that Suzie will not waste the units summoned by the source crystal, but increase the level of defensive buildings as much as possible. Ruan prayed silently for Suzie in her heart. She really regarded Suzie as her own younger brother, otherwise how could she care so much about a student? As for the Godhead fragments, she doesn't really care much. Even if there are fragments of the Godhead, it will only temporarily delay the time when the territory is broken, and it will not save her after all. She only hoped that Suzie could pass the examination. Becoming a lord, even a plant lord, is better than being an ordinary person. Another world, the third day. Early morning. Suzie washes with open black lens bracket Lingquan close black lens bracket. The fourth order spiritual spring hits the face, which is moist and refreshing. If other people found out that Suzie used the fourth order spiritual spring as a wash water, they might not be able to help but scold him as a prodigal. Tier 4. It is no longer comparable to the third order. If Tier 3 is still a rookie lord, then the fourth order signifies he has grown into a full lord. Even in Blue Star, a fourth tier lord is enough to live well in a city and have a high social status. Even some middle school teachers are only at the 4th level. Because Tier 4 is also the pinnacle of ordinary lords. Without a chance, I dare not venture into the cosmic sea. There is no chance to hit the 5th level in my life. Check the territory panel, Suzie muttered in his heart, and the next moment, a data panel appeared in his mind. Territory, natural territory, affiliation, Suzie. Level, 35, area, 40,000 square meters. Buildings, World Tree, Lord's Mansion, Linquan, Arrow Tower, Burst Flame Tower, Bow and Crossbow Tower, Fan Tower, Watching Pool. Residence, 0. The territory has entered the 4th level. Suzie thought that with yesterday's huge harvest, it would be enough to make the territory enter the 5th level. Pity. Entering the 4th level, the resources required for each small level can be called terrifying. Spent all the source points, and only raised the territory to level 35. All buildings in the territory. They were all upgraded to Tier 4 by Suzie. Look around. Within the territory, all kinds of buildings are scattered everywhere. Bow and Crossbow Tower was placed in the northwest corner by Suzie, and now there is only one left, and the defenses in all 4 directions are complete. Open black lens bracket fan Lu close black lens bracket. Quality. Legend. Level. 38. Function. Gather cosmic delicacies on the 1st floor. Introduction. The 4th tier fan building lists the world's billions of delicacies of the 4th tier and below in all worlds, but the consumption is a bit expensive. Open black lens bracket fan Lu close black lens bracket. Suzie had heard of its name in his previous life, and it was known as the first building in Kaifeng in the Song dynasty. Kaifeng's imperial palace is 3 stories high, while Fan Tower is 4 stories high. It can be described as the number 1 restaurant in Song dynasty. And Suzie's, Fan Lu, is not ordinary. From 1 floor of the 1st order to 4 floors of the 4th order. Every time one level is raised, a level of pavilions will be generated. Each layer will contain 10,000 worlds, all corresponding levels of delicacies in the cosmic sea. It's a miracle. Last night Suzie tried to order a luminous egg fried rice. After eating, it made him linger and forget to return. It was extremely delicious and had endless aftertaste. Such fanlu for those who like food. The price is worth 10,000 gold. This is why legendary buildings are so rare. Each of them has a power that can be called a miracle. Suzie sighed. If it is not 100 times harder and 1,000 times rewarding, if you want to get a legendary building. Its difficulty is comparable to that of a mortal ascending to the sky. Suzie thought in his heart. When I go back, I must feed the teacher more. I've been hearing, if you want to grab a woman's heart, you have to grab a woman's stomach first. Now her stomach should not be able to escape. Showdown. Suzie liked Teacher Lu very early on. It's a pity that she has always regarded Suzie as her younger brother. But his younger brother also wants to be in the top position, so he puts his sister under him. Open black lens bracket watching pool close black lens bracket. Quality. Legend. Level. 37. Function. Beautifies and nourishes the skin, nourishes yin and nourishes the kidney, improves energy and strengthens the mind, and the durability is +4/1. Introduction. In the cold spring, watching pool is bathed, and the hot spring water is used to smooth and cleanse the fat. The waiter raised her delicately and was powerless, and it was the time of Shin Cheng ends. For the building watching pool, Suzie likes it very much. Pity. There is no place for a hero, and there is no way for a younger brother to serve the country. Suzie can only experience the feeling of hot springs. Can dispel fatigue and relieve spirit. But Suzie always subconsciously felt that someone was watching him while taking a shower. This made him vigilant. For a time, I suspected that the territory had slipped in, the kid. No doubt. There are ghosts in this world. There was even a god, and her unit panel was a ghost. Control thousands of souls and build a kingdom of ghosts. Boom. Suzie, who is eating big meat buns in Fan Lu. An explosion was heard in the sky. Without hesitation, Suzie rushed up the city wall with a stride. Chapter 16. The third wave of invasion, Chuzhe on all sides. Boom. In the sky, there were constant roars. Beep beep beep, beep beep beep. Climbing up the city wall, the surrounding Gatlings greeted Suzie one after another. Suzie waved at them, then looked at the gray fog seriously. The gray mist rolled, blurred inside, and covered everything. Suzie didn't dare to be careless. Tier 3 monsters appeared in the second wave of attacks. According to experience, this time there might be Tier 4 monsters. Fourth order. It's also a watershed moment for monsters. If the third level represents the nascent stage, then the fourth level monster already represents the maturity. Some are even enough to be kings. Facing the fourth order, even Suzie needs to be on the mend. After all, his arms are only Tier 2 at this time. Want to fight against Tier 4? The difficulty is not small. Coming. Suddenly, in the gray fog, a monster rushed out of the fog. Call. The wind howled, and monsters rushed towards the territory with hideous faces. They are no longer the green goblins before, but each one is more than 1 meter tall, with red skin, a pair of curved horns on their heads, and 4 limbs on the ground, which looks like a beast. Appraisal. Suzie uses the newly acquired skills. Bold Devil. Grade 9. Ability. Brutal Charge. Bold Devil. Level 15. Skills. Savage Charge. Breath of Mad Cow. 1, 10, 100, 200. In the blink of an eye, all you can see are bold demons, and there are thousands of them. Both first and second order. Moo. During the charge, the bull demon roared, with momentum like a mountain, unstoppable. And this is just the beginning. Stretching for a distance of thousands of meters, bull demons rushed out continuously, as if there was no limit. It looks like today will be a protracted battle. Suzie's face was solemn, and his eyes were fixed on the bull demon who was rushing to the front. When the distance between the two sides is 500 meters, Suzie's eyes narrowed slightly, and he waved his hand. In an instant, thousands of guns are fired. Gatling had been prepared long ago, his eyes were red, and the muzzle of his mouth was moving. Countless bullets poured out simultaneously. The explosive flame tower, arrow tower, and bow crossbow tower on both sides unceremoniously poured their power at the monster. Die. When the power of the two sides touches the moment, the dozens of bull demons who rushed to the front were smashed into pieces, and their flesh and blood flew everywhere. But the bull demon behind him was not afraid at all. When the bull demon in front died, the bull demon from behind would come up to him. Like an endless tide, desperate to submerge the territory. Ho 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 ho, ho 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 ho. A mad roar came from the mist. The moment they heard the roar, the eyes of all the bull demons turned blood red. Madness. In an instant, the speed of all the bull demons soared. Moo, moo. The roar made Suzie's eardrums swell. Puff, puff. The violent roar did not affect Gatling at all. All the barrels are like roaring beasts. Without mercy, he smashed all the fierce beasts that rushed into pieces. 1/4 of an hour. Quarter of an hour. The distance of 500 is advanced by 100 meters. The distance between the two sides 400 meters. In just a quarter of an hour. 100 meters away, it was piled up by the bull demons with their flesh and blood. Red organs, green blood, broken bones, crushed skulls. It has already piled up into mountains. A small green river of blood slowly flowed out from the body, spreading to nowhere. A short distance of 100 meters. Now, already turned into a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. Even though Suzie had already experienced 2 battles, he still watched silently at this moment. This is real war. Not you die. That's me. There should be no mercy. Countless flame tongues mercilessly harvested any monster that dared to attack the territory. The explosive flame pagoda, which is already at the 4th level, has a red spar floating in the air, flashing slightly. Dozens of fireballs with a diameter of more than 1 meter gathered in the air. The flames lingered on it, making a crackling and crackling sound. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Dozens of explosive bombs flew into the bull demon group. Boom. In an instant, it exploded. Boom. Dozens of small mushroom clouds rose in the herd. For a moment, it completely devoured the surroundings. Hundreds of monsters were instantly melted by the blazing high temperature, hundreds of monsters were directly blown away. Ah, ah, there were screams and roars. At the same time, the same 4th order bow and crossbow tower is also showing its power. Accurate shooting, a piercing crossbow bolt burst out. With one blow, it penetrated the monster's thick leather armor and bones. A string of two, a string of three. In a short time, the two sides actually formed a delicate balance. Suzie smiled slightly at the corner of his mouth, and raised his middle finger towards the gray mist. He knows, behind these bull demons, there is definitely a leader. But if this stalemate continues, Suzie is not afraid. But how much strength can the opponent have? The figure in the mist is also watching all this. Seeing Suzie's provocation, the gray mist rolled violently. Roar! A murderous growl rose from the mist. Next moment, the mist around the whole domain began to riot. Countless monsters appeared from the fog around the territory, and then rushed towards the territory frantically. For a while, natural caller, it is like a flatboat swaying in the wind and rain in the sea, with ups and downs. Chu-Jie on all sides. Summon, 1500 units. When the fog begins to riot all around, Suzie realized what was going to happen. With a heartbeat, he didn't hesitate to spend the remaining 300,000 source crystals. Summon 1500 open black lens bracket P Gatling close black lens bracket. When a troop evolves, the troop token also evolves accordingly. But it still needs to be cultivated from the first level. Moreover, the price of summoning arms is doubled. That's why, the reason why the lords are very rare about their own arms. Each of them is an existence that has consumed a lot of effort. Even if one dies, it is enough to make their hearts ache. Following Suzie's order, there was a flash of light on the city wall in 3 directions. Countless light spots landed and turned into P-Gatlings one by one. Beep beep beep, beep beep beep, no nonsense. Just appeared. One by one the arms are replaced with blood-red eyes. A P-bullet, he shot at the enemy mercilessly. Boom. Boom. All of a sudden, rumbling sounds came from all directions. There is war everywhere, and there is fighting everywhere. Suzie's gaze was fixed on the gray mist. It seems to see the counterattack of the monster inside. It's a pity that the other party is still hiding in the mist. Dare not show up, otherwise Suzie can teach him what makes a good monster. The territory reaches Tier 4. Suzie's strength has already broken through the sky, but he has never had the chance to make a move. Hope the monster inside can give him this opportunity. ... The battle goes on and on. From morning, it lasted until the afternoon. Monsters seem to rush out of the depths of the fog endlessly. But it is always limited to the first order and the second order. As if it were all cannon fodder. It doesn't matter how much you die. Suzie didn't even know how many monsters he had killed. I just feel that the smell of blood in the air is still almost liquefied, and there is a disgusting smell everywhere. Roar. At 6 o'clock a voice came from the mist. With this sound, there are no more monsters invading in the mist, and all monsters retreat. Raise the flag to withdraw troops. Roar. There was another roar of a beast. Although Suzie didn't understand, he did. This is a letter of war issued to him. Suzie had a hunch. He and the other party will meet again tomorrow. It's finally over. Suzie rubbed his sore eyes. He stood on the city wall for a day, and his body was a little tired. Outside the city walls, the golden treasure chests gradually condensed out one by one, piled up like a mountain outside. It is conceivable that, how many monsters did you kill today? With a wave of his hand, all the treasure chests were collected into the equipment bar. Looking at the dirty world outside the city, Suzie frowned. But it's not impossible. World Tree, purify. At one command, the World Tree in the territory swayed slightly, and a soft green light spread around the World Tree as the center. Wherever the light is shrouded, everything becomes clean and holy. When the green light rushes out of the territory. Outside the city, the mountain of corpses and the sea of blood turned into spots of light and dissipated in the world the moment they came into contact with the green light. A moment later, looking outside the city, it was already as clean as ever. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, who would have believed that there had been a meat grinder-like battle here before? Characteristics purify all filth, and clean lead. This is a new feature unlocked by World Tree after the territory is promoted to the 4th level. Open black lens bracket purification close black lens bracket. With it, Suzie's territory can be kept fresh and natural forever. Never smell those nasty rotting corpses again. It was a great help. At this time, a message appeared in front of Suzie's eyes. The third round of invasion is over. Start settlement. Open black lens bracket war settlement close black lens bracket. Enemies. 20,000 Tier 1 Green Goblins, 20,000 Tier 1 Bull Demons, 5,000 Tier 2 Ghost Axemen, 5,000 Tier 2 Bull Demons. The result of the war, crushed. Evaluation. SSS level. Reward. 1,000 Source Crystals, 100 Source Points. Due to 100 times the difficulty and 1,000 times the reward, recalculate. Evaluation. SSS plus. Rewards. 1 million Source Crystals, 100,000 Source Points, Army Token, Hero Recruitment Order, Wine Pool Legendary, Secret Garden of the Gods Legendary, Weekly Star Robe Legend, Sun Moon Purple Gold Crown Legend. There are so many monsters attacking this time. Seeing the total number of 30,000 monsters counted, Suzie couldn't help but sigh with emotion. Compared with the second wave of monsters, this time it can be said that it has been multiplied several times. Suzie feels that the will of this world wants to use numbers to kill himself. But he never thought that his own arms would have such a strong endurance. After a deadlock between the two sides for a day, he reluctantly left. So, this wave of Suzie won. However, there are more monsters and more rewards. Not just war rewards. Suzie looked at Gatling one by one. The light of evolution began to be born in almost every branch of arms. Have no idea. What will the third level P evolve into? This doubt. It will be answered soon. The light fades. Brand new Ps appeared in front of Suzie's eyes one by one. Suzie looked at it, and the information of the troops appeared. Open black lens bracket name close black lens bracket, P Gunner. Race plant. Open black lens bracket level close black lens bracket, 28. Physique, 500. Agility, 160. Speed. Spirit, 400. Skill power. Skill, P Cannonball. Loyalty, 100% permanent. Introduction evolved from the P Gatling. The P has also become a terrible weapon of war. P Shells. Quality. Legend. Feature 1. Annihilation. Annihilation of all creatures within a radius of 10 meters. Feature 2. Super long range bombardment. Within the range, the truth is everywhere. Feature 3. 10-star Leonju, 10 Ps form a Leonju. Introduction. Angels shed tears when they saw it, and monsters suffered when they saw it. P Gunner. 3 big question marks appeared on Suzie's head. Is the name so random? However, Suzie looked at the 3-tier units with a height of 4 or 5 meters. There was still a moment of silence. The Ps are growing bigger and bigger. Suzie reached out and patted P Gunner beside him. The P Gunner made a friendly, beep, sound. He even wanted to lean on Suzie, and Suzie was so frightened that he stepped back quickly. Now the P Gunner, with the barrel in his mouth gone. It has completely turned into a washbasin-sized muzzle. The gun barrel was 2 meters long, and the muzzle was straight, pointing at the sky. Look around. It's like 500 towering cannons, always alert to the surrounding fog. Is this the sense of security brought by arms? Really love. Suzie summed it up in detail. Now he has nearly 800 P Gunners and 1,200 P Gatlings. Yes, after a day of slaughter. The newly summoned 1,500 arms have all been promoted to the second level at this moment. There are even 300 ruthless ones. Has entered the third stage. And because of this time, the number of monsters is abnormally large. Suzie found that almost all arms have reached the threshold for the next promotion. That is to say, after the 4th wave, Suzie's arms will enter the 4th tier. At that time, the firepower will definitely undergo earth-shaking changes, enough to deal with all subsequent crises. Acquired. 2 source crystals. Obtained. 1 source crystal, 2 source points. Acquired. 1 source crystal. Acquired. 2 source crystals. Obtain. 1 source crystal, 5 source points. 50,000 source crystals, 3,000 source points. Today's luck is average. Suzie was a little disappointed. Today, I opened 30,000 treasure chests, but only a few items were opened. Compared with the previous 2 times, my luck is really bad. I hope to open some buildings tomorrow. Suzie shook his head, and with a wave of his hand, all the source crystals entered the equipment bar. Next, it's time to upgrade the territory. The source crystals and source points this time are enough to raise the territory to the 5th level. Go under the world tree and start to promote the territory. You consume 36,000 source crystals, 3,600 source points, and your territory has been upgraded to level 36. Close black lens bracket. You consume 37,000 source crystals and 3,700 source points, and your territory has been upgraded to level 37. Close black lens bracket. You consume 38,000 source crystals and 3,800 source points, and your territory has been upgraded to level 38. Close black lens bracket. You consume 40,000 source crystals and 4,000 source points, and your territory has been upgraded to level 40. Close black lens bracket. Congratulations, your territory has been promoted to the 5th level. Close black lens bracket. Continue. Suzie didn't stop. The only function of the source point at this stage was to upgrade the territory, so Suzie didn't give up at all. You consume 41,000 source crystals and 4,100 source points, and your territory has been upgraded to level 41. Close black lens bracket. You consume 45,000 source crystals and 4,500 source points, and your territory has been upgraded to level 45. Close black lens bracket. Compared to source crystals, the source points are still too few. Suzie is helpless. Subsequently, Suzie's body began to emit a faint light. A force surged in, transforming Suzie's body and spirit in an all-round way. The light dissipated, and he clenched his fist lightly. Then there was a crackling sound of bones. Boom. Boom. With a slight swing of his fist, there were 2 explosion-like sounds in the air. Twice the speed of sound. Suzie breathed a sigh of relief. Now he could be considered a Superman in his previous life. Suddenly, Suzie had an understanding in his heart. He suddenly figured out, why does Teacher Lu always treat him as his younger brother and forbid him to touch her? The previous Suzie was not even a lord. But Mr. Lu has long been an 8th level, or even 9th level lord. Physical fitness has already transformed towards the gods. The gap between the two is too large. Mortal and Nang Sun God. In case the teacher accidentally loses his breath, I'm afraid Suzie will be crushed directly. So, if you want to sleep with the teacher, you have to work hard to level up. Consume 100,000 source crystals, and the level of the Lord's mansion will be raised to 49. Close black lens bracket. Consuming 100,000 source crystals, the level of the Steel City Wall has been raised to level 49. Close black lens bracket. Consume 100,000 source crystals, and the level of the Explosive Flame Tower will be raised to level 49. Close black lens bracket. Consume 100,000 source crystals, and the level of Fan Lu is raised to 49. Close black lens bracket. In less than an hour, Suzie consumed most of this harvest. Sun family. It was Suzie. This time also got 2 buildings. As Suzie said, he took out 2 architectural models. Open black lens bracket Secret Garden of the Gods close black lens bracket, open black lens bracket Wine Pond close black lens bracket. 2 legendary buildings. After passing Fanlu and watching Pool 2 living buildings. Suzie is looking forward to this kind of building more and more. I don't know what surprises there will be. Suzie threw the 2 buildings towards the world tree. Open black lens bracket Secret Garden of the Gods close black lens bracket. Quality. Legend. Grade 1. Feature 1. Singing birds and fragrant flowers. The whole territory is filled with the fragrance of flowers, and the territory is full of exotic flowers and plants. Feature 2. Attributes of troops in all territories plus 2% permanent. Feature 3. Miracle perfume. A perfume made of thousands of exotic flowers, enough to make girls crazy about it. A goddess once caused a war of gods for this perfume. Inventory. 1 bottle per month. Introduction. Maybe you can rely on it to win the girl's heart. It's a landscape building, but it can also be used as a resource building. Suzie nodded secretly. Miracle perfume. I don't know how strong the charm is for the perfume that Shendu is vying for. This kind of building is most suitable for women's wool. After going out, take it to the auction house for auction. Take out a bottle every now and then. Engage in hunger marketing. Suzie thought of a lot in an instant. The trial is over. Suzie relies on these resources. The speed of earning source crystals is not necessarily slower than that in the trial. Without hesitation, then spend a lot of source crystals to upgrade it to tier 5. At the moment when Suzie upgraded it to the 5th level, on the originally green grass, strange flowers emerged from the ground. In a blink, the whole territory turned into a sea of colorful flowers. Take a breath. The whole nasal cavity is filled with the aroma of flowers. Open black lens bracket wine pool close black lens bracket. Quality. Legend. Grade 1. Function. Condensing the world's fine wines, brewing peerless immortals, and brewing fine nectar and jade liquid. Inventory. Dukangshan Brew 1. Introduction. The world's fine wines gather in one pool. Another resource-based building. Suzie's eyes lit up when he saw the wine pool function. No matter which world you are in, there are countless people with good wine. The world of the Lord is even more so. Many gods are alcoholics who are addicted to alcohol, and even spend a lot of money for alcohol. Wine Pond. This building can produce peerless wine. Some drunkards pay for him. And the first kind of wine is Dukong Shanyang grade. Directly pull the quality of wine to the extreme. Then after the upgrade, I am afraid that more fairy wine will be born. The value is immeasurable. Also without hesitation, upgrade to tier 5. There are more and more unique resources in the territory, and these are the background for my future promotion. Suzie thought about the way ahead. Because of the 100 times the size of the territory, he wanted to upgrade the territory, and the resources consumed were terrifying. Even ordinary god families couldn't afford to support him. Only self-sufficiency. So for this kind of resource building, Suzie is not too much at all. Upgrade the building. After placement, Suzie took out 2 tokens. One hero recruitment order and the other is arm token. What is the most lacking in the world of lords? Not a building. It's the type of arms that suits you. Due to the limitation of the unit template, the lower the concept of the unit, the greater the limitation. Many lords only owned one type of arms in their lifetime. But Suzie is different. Botanical concept template. No doubt, it is the top concept arms template in the universe. As long as it is a plant type, it is considered a potato. Suzie can use the talent Alienation. Play him out. Unfortunately, this troop token is the snake human race of the Beastman family. Put it away and save it for later. Suzie looked at the golden hero recruitment order. Open black lens bracket hero recruitment order close black lens bracket. Quality. Legend. Function. Consume 100 source crystals to recruit a hero unit that matches the Lord system itself. Introduction. Are there heroes in the plant department? Are there any heroes in the plant department? Suzie expressed doubts. As said in the last introduction, the plant department is a unit with combat effectiveness, and it is hard to find in thousands of miles, let alone heroes. Try it and you'll know. Suzie took out 100 source crystals. 100 source crystals disappeared in an instant. Simultaneously, the golden hero recruitment order also began to flicker. It seems to have begun to summon arms. 5 minutes later. Hero recruitment order still flickering. Suzie. Hey, it's too difficult for it. In addition to the elves of the cosmic civilization, they were bred from the legendary tree of life. Suzie has never heard of any other plants that can give birth to intelligence or give birth to life. It seemed to be stimulated by Suzie's sigh. Open black lens bracket hero recruitment order close black lens bracket. Suddenly a violent golden light erupted. Under the world tree, a 2-meter high fiery red flower bud burst out of the ground in the blink of an eye, and grew rapidly. The petals were engraved with layers of golden stripes surrounded by mysterious patterns. Mysterious, noble, enchanting. Suzie frowned and took a few steps back. At this moment, the flower buds began to bloom, and the red petals slowly bloomed, like the most beautiful scenery in the world. When the flower bud fully bloomed, Suzie looked inside. Suddenly stunned, his eyes widened, and his Adam's apple moved up and down. In the flower bud, a girl who is as white as snow and has red hair down to her waist is lying curled up among the stamens. Seems to feel something, a little cool, the girl's body trembled. Soon, the girl opened her star-like eyes, rubbed the corners of her sleepy eyes, and stretched comfortably. Then, the girl stretched her legs behind her, with a few strands of black hair hanging down her chest. She sat on her slender legs as white as snow, and said softly to Suzie with her eyes wide open. Yan, master, good morning. At the same time, a piece of news appeared in front of Suzie. Get the hero, Flower Fairy. Outside world. Virtual networks have been completely overwhelmed by angry students. Qingyan Middle School Forum. I want to know why this year's trial is so difficult. I was eliminated in the first round, and I can only be an ordinary person in the future. I am not reconciled. You're a fart, I'm a green rare quality lord, and I didn't even pass the second round. Upstairs, you are stupid. Hehe, in my second round, there are 10 Tauran units, armed with maces, how domineering and arrogant. But in the mist, 50 monsters rushed out, and there were even 5 mages. Without saying a word, they came up and beat me. What should I do? What can I do? Quote. What are 50 monsters? I am a blue elite, and I met 300 first level monsters in the third round. At that time, I only had 20 arms. What's more hateful? There are still 10 5-meter tall second order monsters inside. I'm f-king desperate. Why is the trial so difficult this year? Qingyan Middle School meeting room. A group of teachers looked at the projector, and the speeches on the school forum looked at each other in blank silence. This year's difficulty is beyond everyone's expectations. The entire school was almost wiped out. Now, there are only 10 people who are still in the trial. By the way, has the student from the Department of Botany come out? At this time, a teacher remembered something and suddenly said, Qin Shang. Which pot is not opened and which pot is lifted? Qin Shang glared at the teacher fiercely, and remained silent. He is also very depressed. A plant lord, why hasn't it been eliminated yet? It's a pity that I can't understand it. Not far away. Ruan was sitting on the sidelines watching the play, covering her cherry lips with her jade hand, and smiling on her brows. Feel comfortable. She was also quite surprised. Some of the other classes had almost all been eliminated. But something happened to her class. There is not only Suzie of the plant department, but also a green quality kobold Guan Shan. The two can be said to be the dark horses among the students of Qingyan High School this year. Suddenly, she frowned, a little puzzled, and a little helpless. From now on, the right eyelid began to twitch wildly. A bad premonition welled up in my heart. But she still couldn't find the reason, which made her very upset. Although her territory has long been broken, she is still a demigod. Premonitions about oneself are strong. Ruan fell into deep thought, and lightly tapped the table with her right hand to make a da-da sound. Recalling the reason why the right eyelid twitched last time. The memory of the demigod is good. I remembered it in an instant. The last time was in the school grove. Found a sneaky kitten. The finger that was about to fall paused in midair. Ruan's soft eyes disappeared, exuding a cold aura. Hehe, sister, I am worried about you outside, I am worried to death. So you put a hat on me inside. Smelly brother, you're having a great time. If you don't give me an explanation when you come out. My sister's leather whip hurts me. The 4th day. Natural caller. In the bedroom of the city lord's mansion. Suzie frowned in his sleep, feeling tightness in his chest. It seemed that there was a heavy weight on his body, which made his chest tight and made him have difficulty breathing. Subconsciously reached out and patted. Crack, with a crisp sound. There was also a soft humming sound in his ear. What is this? Puzzled, aware of the weight on the body, there is still no sign of movement. Suzie felt even more impatient. He stretched out his hand and grabbed it fiercely. What? A piercing scream exploded in Suzie's ear. Suzie woke up suddenly and sat up subconsciously. A monster is coming. After recovering, Suzie didn't hear the thunder in the sky. Master. Pain. Hearing the sound, Suzie's mouth twitched slightly, slowly lowering his head with an ominous premonition in his heart. People are numb. A girl with fair skin like snow was looking at him with an aggrieved expression. The girl's face is peerless, her skin is pink and tender, and she can be broken by blowing bullets, and her body is ethereal, as if she doesn't eat fireworks. The ears are small and cute, with a hint of red. At this time, her red hair was hanging loosely on her chest, her big eyes were as cute as the stars, but they were full of tears. It hurts to see. Here, why are you here? Suzie hung up his mind for a moment, stood up quickly, put on his clothes, resisted the instinct of his body, and turned around. He obviously arranged another room for the little fairy last night. Why are you here so early in the morning? The bed was cold, not as comfortable as the master's body, and it didn't smell as good as the master's body, so I naturally ran over to sleep with the master. The little goblin tilted her head and said as a matter of course. Suzie covered her face. Shenma is not as comfortable as me, nor does he smell as good as me. Luckily Ruan Lu is not here. Otherwise, even if he jumped into the Milky Way, he wouldn't be able to explain it clearly. No, what does it smell like? Suzie sniffed the nostrils, the fragrance from his hand. Suddenly, Suzie seemed to think of something, and looked back at the goblin. Naturally, the goblin also saw Suzie's actions, and her face turned red instantly. Really cute. Suzie has never been a human being in this world, so how could he have experienced this kind of temptation? Turning his head, he silently recited Teacher Lu several times to suppress the evil thoughts in his heart. This continued. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend just now, I went out first. After finishing speaking, without waiting for the little fairy to reply, Suzie left the room as if running. Seeing Suzie running away, the little goblin gave a poof smile. The delicate little hands gently rubbed the still sore chest. Bad master. Whispering in the mouth, the sound is like a mosquito. After waking up, the little fairy was not going to sleep in. She put on the white shirt and clean underwear that Suzie had prepared for her, buttoned up, and got out of bed. She is a fairy, born from a flower, born to love nature and be unrestrained. Don't like the bondage that clothes bring her. But Suzie insisted that she wear clothes, otherwise she was not allowed to approach him. She is also very helpless. But who made him the master? Call. Suzie stood outside the city lord's mansion, took a few deep breaths, and patted his face. Lifting his spirits, the hot blood returned to calm. What a charming little elf. Goblins are born from different flowers, they are a natural race and belong to the plant family. But also because of this, it doesn't understand personnel. Everything has to be taught by Suzie himself. And the goblin always said he was her master. It was because of him that he was born. So I don't want to change the name anyway. It made Suzie very helpless, and after a few times, he didn't bother to change it. There is no doubt that the goblin is very in line with the aesthetics of the human race. Except that the ears are somewhat similar to the elves, the rest is no different from human beings. At this moment, there was a muffled thunder in the sky. Suzie's complexion changed, and he quickly flew up to the steel city wall. Outside the city walls, the mist billowed, lightning and thunder thundered in the sky, and it was a scene of the end of the world. I don't know what new tricks the monster will play today. Suzie looked at the mist quietly, with a calm heart. Experienced 3 monster invasions, and witnessed the scene of mountains of corpses and seas of blood. Suzie's heart has long since become as hard as steel and will not be easily shaken. More importantly, there are 800 third-tier artillerymen and 1,200 second-tier Gatling gunners under his command. Stand ready, waiting for Suzie's orders at any time, giving Suzie great confidence. There is a gun in hand, a cannon, the firepower is fierce. Naturally, I don't panic. Roar. In the mist, a majestic voice came out. Then, the ground began to shake, and the fragments were shaken up and down. Countless strange-shaped monsters stepped out of the fog in all directions. As soon as it appears, then desperately rushed towards the territory. At this moment, the war begins. Suzie used identification on several monsters. Open black lens bracket 2-headed lizard close black lens bracket. Race, orc, level, 15, skills, flamethrower, bite. Berserk temporary. Introduction. An elite warrior from the mist, with desperate courage. Open black lens bracket earth dragon beast close black lens bracket. Race, Yulong, level, 25. Skills, earth dungeon, dragon breath, earth dragon armor, crazy explosion temporary. Introduction. A sub-dragon with dragon blood, beware of being stolen from the ground. There is a dragon. Suzie was a little surprised. Dragon family. No matter which world it is in, it is a top-level existence of creatures. Even if it is a sub-dragon, its combat power is not comparable to that of ordinary creatures. However, So what about the sub-dragon? Even the real dragon will have to die here today. Attack, Suzie ordered without any fear. Next moment, 800p gunners, 1200p Gatlings, eyes glowing red. Go straight to war mode. Boom, boom, boom. The sound of countless shells firing exploded beside my ears, and the sound of countless bullets firing surrounded my ears. The sky was covered by countless shells for a while. The first wave. Shells washed the ground. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.